let's talk about the Big 12.
Yeah.
That's going to be a crazy conference.
So I think the Big 12 is actually the most difficult conference to like circle which program is hurt the most by realignment in its current standing, because they're all the same program as far as I'm concerned.
Now, I look at it, who is the top dog?
I don't know, and I think that's why it's going to be so much fun to watch every year.
I think Utah is going to be really good.
I do too.
I think Utah's going to pop off. Hey, your boy at Arizona State has an
Kenny
opportunity
Dillingham.
to make a playoff.
I'm big on Kenny Dillingham. He gets that job. He's from that area. He grew up in Scottsdale, Tempe area. He gets it. He's talked a ton about quote unquote activating the valley in recruitment. And there's a ton of players in that state that are great skill position talent, especially at quarterback and receiver, defensive back. Bijan Robinson is from Arizona, and he famously, I don't think, was ever seriously considering Arizona State or Arizona. That's a problem. I don't think that that's going to continue to be a thing with Jed Fish, who just secured a 5-star edge rusher in the 2024 class, or Kenny Dillingham at ASU. I'm high on both of those programs kind of climbing a little bit in the Big 12. I think Jed Fish has done a good job. They obviously struggled a ton at the end of the Kevin Sumlin era. I think they lost like 16 games in a row at one point. Jed Fish has them improving. I think Jaden DeLaura this season in the Pac-12 is going to have a good year, not being talked about enough as a quarterback and a loaded conference of QBs. But I agree with you. I think Utah is going to have a lot of success in the future Big 12. If there's a program I think might struggle that is currently in the Big 12 to maintain a similar level of play, I'm going to go Oklahoma State. And I know that that's kind of an interesting answer. Mike Gundy's obviously won 7 games every single year he's been the head coach there. But I just kind of get some bad vibes coming out of that program, coming out of Stillwater. They had a ton of kids enter the portal after the season. They got killed at the end of the year against teams that they probably should have played more competitive games against, or maybe even won. And I just wonder if he is able to adapt to the new level of college football with NIL, the transfer portal, everything else. Because I feel like every single time Mike Gundy gets up in front of a microphone, he just complains about NIL and the transfer portal. And is this what we really want? Yeah, I mean, that was like 10 years ago, but yeah.
It was like 15. No, you're right. It kind of gives you Dabo Swinney vibes. However, he doesn't have the recruiting advantages of being in South Carolina, and he doesn't have the talent. I mean, Oklahoma State has kind of been frustrating. There's been years where you think this team's going to make the college football playoff, and then they lose to Iowa State in double overtime. You know, they're an inch away of making the playoff, but they get stopped by Baylor. And eventually –
that was a hell of a game, by the way.
That was one of the best Big 12 title games.
Big 12 title games are doing it right the last 2 years.
Well, I've always thought the Big 12 was a really fun conference. Like it's always been entertaining. It just kind of feels like JV compared to the SEC, but it's still fun. But no, Oklahoma State might struggle. Like I don't disagree with that. I think Matt Campbell at Iowa State is going to struggle because Arizona State, no one ever understands why they've always been bad in football. And now they got a 32-year-old head coach who knows how to recruit. They have new life. They have stability. That is the program to watch out for.